Today we are starting the third part of lesson 12 in the grammar, which is talking about would prefer. Would prefer is too much close to would rather. They have nearly the same meaning, but they have different structure. Let's understand this in details. We use would prefer to make preferences. You want to prefer something better than another thing. So you will say, I would prefer something to something else. Take care that I prefer and I'd prefer, I would prefer, can be equal in two cases. When you use nouns or gerunds. I'd prefer fish to meat. Fish and meat are nouns. So I prefer and I'd prefer can be equal. He would prefer swimming to playing football. Swimming and playing, both of them are gerunds. What's the meaning of a gerund? It looks like a verb, but it's not a verb. It has the stem of a verb plus ing. So swimming, going, playing, all these words are called gerunds. So here in this part I say that he would prefer equals he prefers. Both are correct because I do this in case I have a noun or a gerund. Now what if I want to make a preference using a verb? In this case I cannot say I prefer, I have to say I would prefer. So the rule here is would prefer plus verb. It has a certain structure, we'll understand it in details. Take care that the rule says, generally speaking, the words should be parallel, have to be parallel. I prefer coffee to tea. Coffee and tea both are nouns. I prefer going out to staying at home. Going and staying both are gerunds. Now the third one is the verb. I prefer to sleep early rather than stay up late. Take care the structure is completely different. I will not use to in the middle, but I will attach it just after prefer. I'd prefer to, and then the verb in the infinitive, and then I will use rather than, and then the other infinitive, but this time it's a bare infinitive without to. So with would prefer, the rule says would prefer to plus infinitive 1 rather than infinitive 2. Would prefer to because infinitive 1 is a full infinitive with 2. But the second infinitive, it's a bare infinitive, an infinitive without 2. In this slide, we are making a comparison between rather than and prefer to. It's a kind of rephrasing, using the same meaning in different structures. The following sentences have the same meaning but different structures. I'd rather sleep now than feel tired. I'd rather sleep now than feel tired. Can you see then? Now I will use a different structure using prefer. I will say, I'd prefer to sleep now rather than feel tired. I made some changes. Here with prefer I have to say to, full infinitive. And then in the middle I will say rather than, not then only. Look at the second one. Sometimes I drop the second verb if it is understood from the text, instead of repeating the same word. So in this case, I will say I'd prefer to play tennis rather than football. I didn't say rather than play football because it is understood from the text. I'd rather play tennis than football. So in both cases, I didn't repeat the verb. So to conclude, using would prefer with verbs, I will say the rule will be would prefer to plus infinitive 1 rather than infinitive 2. If I want to rephrase the sentence, it will be would rather infinitive 1 than infinitive 2. We will have some more details in the next slide. Let's test ourselves through this exercise. Number 1. I'd rather answer the grammar sheet than read the novel. Use prefer. Of course, the structure will be different. I'd prefer, don't forget to put to. I'd prefer to answer the grammar sheet, and then what's the next difference? I will say rather than read the novel. So take care of these two differences. I add to before the verb, and I say rather than, I don't say then only. Number 2, I'd rather drink tea than coffee. Of course, with rather, I have to say two verbs, drink, but I don't repeat it twice because it's understood from the text. I'd rather drink tea than coffee. Use to. Of course, you will use to when you use prefer. I prefer to drink tea rather than coffee. It's easy. So far, it's easy. Let's go to the form of questions. Would you prefer to go out rather than stay at home? If you are going to use rather, what are you going to say? Would you rather go, bare infinitive. Would you rather go out than stay at home? Of course, I will erase the word rather because I will not repeat it twice. I put it with prefer in the question. In the answer, I said rather and then the word than alone between the two verbs. Number 4 is a little tricky. Take care. I prefer you to go to bed early tonight. Take care here. I prefer you. I used two subjects. When I use it with rather, it will make a great difference. I'd rather you, do you remember? When I have two subjects and the situation is present, in this case I will say went. I'd rather you went to bed early tonight. I hope it's easy for you. Now please go to your grammar books, page 80, exercise B. Read it carefully, answer it, and we will send you the answers as soon as possible.